I'm so excited to have Daniella Schoch here today. She is living in Spain and is originally from Switzerland. She's a transformational life coach. She works with women and empowering them to be in their soul purpose and manifest their most abundant life of their dreams. So I'm so excited to have you here with us today, Daniella.
Thanks. I'm very happy to be here too today.
Yeah, great. So to begin, I have the question, what does the goddess mean to you?
Mm. Yeah, that's a deep question. I'm trying to answer it as best as I can in this time frame. I think for me, we're going through a time where the feminine and the feminine power is much more appreciated. And I think it's always been there, the divine feminine and the goddess, but it's been well suppressed or lost. And I think a lot of women, us, we've also lost this kind of connection to the more feminine, intuitive, materializing part of ourselves. So I think the divine feminine for me is evolving, and it's becoming this new power in the world today that embodies the strength and the power of the feminine. And I think we're awakening much more to this goddess energy, also knowing that the male system has served us really well for a long time, but it almost feels like it needs to be more balanced now. And I think that's where I see the goddess and the priestess emerging, and us really embodying that and embracing that and living that without shame or guilt or suppressing it. So that for me, I think, is what the goddess means.
Oh, great. Beautiful. And what is your feeling about the redemption of the feminine spirit?
Well, I think it's time to redeem it, because, as I said, I think we've been living in this male power system for such a long time. And as I said, it served us really well. I think the male power system's strength is really in logic, structure, organization. If you want to move from A to B, you define the steps, you know exactly what to do. But it's also very almost like inward focused, or just a very small circle. And I feel like the feminine power system is more inclusive, it's more interconnected, it's more interdependent. And knowing that, we shine when others shine. It's not about just me shining. And I think that's where I feel a lot of women have this impulse for self-actualization, which is doing something meaningful, but doing it in a bigger, almost global context, or within a community, however big the sphere is. But having this more inclusive, more intuitive way of materializing. And I think we also see that, self-actualization, if you what we talked before, like living your highest potential and doing something meaningful and really bringing all of your gifts to the world, it's not a straight line. So I think many on this path can attest there's ups and downs, and there's setbacks, and moving forward and sometimes moving sideways. So it's not as logical and straight line as it was before. But I think that's what makes it quite enjoyable. And for me as a coach, to work with women on this path, and just sensing your way forward instead of lodging your way forward, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love that. I love that. And so my next question is, what does the awakening mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's really embracing this different kind of power and finding the balance. And I think we are awakening to a new consciousness where we know, the way we've been doing things up to now um, has served us well in certain respect, but it's also coming to its fulfillment and its conclusion. We know we can't move forward to the way we've been doing things for the past 10, 20, 50, or 100 years. So I think the awakening for me is that, a spiritual awakening, and being aware that we are connected and interconnected. I think this time now tells us or shows us how dependent we are on each other. And the awakening is to the spiritual reality that we are connected, and we are evolving all together. It's not just a one-man show. And even if you are further evolved than someone, your job is to bring others up behind you and raise the vibration of your family, your community, but for me also the whole world. So I think that is the awakening. And how we've been treating each other, how we've been treating animals and trees and plants. And I think if you have this spiritual awareness that we're also all in essence divine, I think that changes your attitude or your behavior, but also your internal beliefs about how to interact with others.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And so as a transformational coach, what are your tips, your wisdom, your strategies on helping people during this time of awakening and emerging? There's so much going on in the world, so much stress, so much fear, so much kind of separation with the pandemic and everything. So I was hoping you could give all of us that are listening just like your wisdom of how to best navigate through this unknown territory.
I think for me, what I found, what is really important to me even more than before, is just meditation. Just taking this moment of stillness, this moment of checking in with yourself, this moment of connecting to yourself and to your own higher essence, and then just feeling that connection with others as well. So meditation for me is a big part. I think what I also always feel is a challenge for many women especially is just being, allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to play, allowing yourself to nurture yourself in whatever shape or form that takes. And I think this time is actually really forcing us to be more, we're more homebound, there's less travel, there's less meeting up with friends. But for me, it's an opportunity to really tap into your creativity. And when I mean being, it's not like you sit on the couch and you do nothing, right? But being, allowing yourself to play, take out your colors, take out your pencils, take out your book, write, create, sing, dance, whatever it is. But things that in our very rational mind are useless, or and I think those are really underappreciated, but I think it really nurtures your heart. So I think that for me are the two things: the creativity and the playfulness, and the beingness, and meditation as a tool. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's so good. And I think, as you were speaking, in the background, I'm hearing a lot of noise. And I don't know if you can hear it, but we've actually got a whole film crew in my house right now interviewing my husband. And so it's like, it's in the other room, but I can hear it. And then I was thinking, oh God, I hope there's not a whole bunch of noise. You don't hear it? Oh, good. But there's a whole film crew in the house right now. And it's like reminding me that, it's how when things come up, it's really easy to be spiritual when everything's just perfect and wonderful. But when the challenges come up, like that's a little bit harder to maintain our equilibrium, because I am sitting here in this moment as I'm interviewing you, gauging my own, not being very centered because of the noise that I'm hearing in the house. And I think that's part of it too, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, this moment of stillness is really being aware of the inner stillness that we all have access to at all times, that is independent from the noises outside. But I think it takes some practice to connect to that. And then I also feel like the grounding is very important. Just being in your body, grounding downwards to the earth, and really being in this world and not being in your head. Sometimes also not that easy.
Yeah. How would you feel about, I know this is a bit spontaneous, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but how would you feel about doing a little meditation with me for everyone to kind of just witness, and and everyone that's watching, you can do this with us. But I feel like I kind of need that right now. and it would show what you do, and then to have everyone involved in it would be really a treat.
Absolutely. As a client of mine and me, we have a little joke, a running gag almost in our coaching sessions. It's like, oh, do you have like a practice or a meditation? And I started to joke and say, I always have a meditation up my sleeve. So I am used to just being in the moment. So thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and allowing yourself to drop inside of your body. Just being aware of your breath, the air touching your nose as you inhale and exhale. And just allowing your awareness to drop down into your hips, the center of feminine power and creation. And allowing the energy to go down into your legs and your feet. And just being aware of the bottom of your feet touching the ground. And knowing that you are connected to Mother Earth. And just feeling her support and her love for a moment. Being aware that she all nurtures us, she supports us. And just being grateful for what we receive on a daily basis. And from there, gently bringing your awareness back to your heart. And taking a few deep breaths to open up your heart center. And allowing the qualities of your heart to become aware and conscious of. And just bringing into this moment your love and your joy, your gratitude, your creativity and your playfulness, and who you are when you show up powerfully for a friend or a loved one. Who you are when you're just losing yourself in something, when you're in complete flow. Maybe when you're cooking or you're playing with your children. Or when you're at work and you're extending your love and compassion and empathy to others. And just allowing the energy of your heart to expand towards the edges of your energy field and the edges of your room. With the intention of being fully available for yourself. And from your heart center, I'd like you to send a stream of energy, of love up to your crown. And even beyond. And allowing the energy of the crown, the qualities of the crown to emerge. Your wisdom, your inner knowing. You know where you're going. You know what brings you joy. You know how you can serve. And if your mind is telling you that you don't know, just shift onto this attitude of receptivity and curiosity. Maybe asking yourself, what can I do to be more connected to myself and others? How can I bring my unique essence qualities into the world? How can I manifest my divine purpose? Just taking a moment to be still and listen and be receptive and curious about an answer. And from your crown, being aware of this bigger light and bigger essence above your head. The essence of your soul. And knowing that on this soul level, we're all connected and we are all tapping into this global human consciousness. And whatever we do to raise our vibration towards more love will be fed into this network of consciousness and will change and impact the consciousness of others as well. And if many of us are doing this, we're really changing the world. And in this state of openness and receptivity and consciousness, I'd also like you to ask, what is my deepest desire? What do I yearn for to experience? What do I yearn for to contribute? What do I yearn for to create? Just allowing this desire to magnetize and attract whatever serves your highest purpose now. Now, whenever you want to, you can go back to these questions. What is your deepest desire? And just knowing and trusting that all of life is supporting us and organizing around our highest success. And as you're aware of this, just allow your consciousness to move outwards and connect to your family, to your friends, to your neighborhood, to your city, to your country, and to the entire earth. And it's a connectedness that feeds us and nurtures us. Because we're in the purpose of the divine. Together we just say yes and thank you, and so be it, and so it is. And whenever you're ready, gently come back and open your eyes.
Oh, thank you. That was the perfect thing to do. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. I was asking the universe to bring me more key summit speakers that would lead us and guide us through some meditation. So here we go. It manifested very quickly. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in asking and you shall receive.
Exactly.
So I'm very happy you had one right up your sleeve.
I always do.
A true transformational coach. Yes, does have meditations up her sleeve, doesn't she? Yeah. So wonderful, wonderful. That was really powerful. I know everyone's going to really get a lot out of that too. I got to think about what my next question was now, because I'm a little like, oh. The next question was, if you can give us all your wisdom of how to navigate through, did I ask this question yet? How to navigate through the world with all the stress? Yeah, I did. That was before the meditation, wasn't it? So tell us a little bit about what you do and how you help women step into their power.
So I think one of the first steps that I always do at the beginning of the coaching, you actually just experienced. It's doing a centering exercise, and it is connecting to your desires. Because I realized that when you think about, if you think about the things you need to do, your goals or all of your tasks, for me, it has this movement of contraction. It's actually stressful. It's like, oh my God, I look at my to-do list, there are so many things to do, and I contract, and it's almost like you're shutting down to a certain degree. So we're changing this around and starting with desires, because desires is more something that comes from your heart. But we often haven't learned how to use our desires to empower us. So often when you think about what do you desire, you think about all the things you don't have. So you're moving into lack, right? And it's like, oh, I would like to have this kind of relationship, but I don't. Or I would like to have financial freedom, but I don't. So we're also trying to turn that around and really tapping into your desires as a source to magnetize. Because as you say, if you ask, you shall receive, but you also sometimes have to know what you want to ask for. Right? So that is the first step on the transformational journey, really becoming very clear about your vision and your desires, and also realizing where is the biggest gap, which is also something we're not used to looking at, but using that gap as fuel and really as empowerment instead of something that brings you down. So that's the first step on the transformational journey. And and then the next step will be that you look at your limiting beliefs and your old stories, and you try to break through those stories and also create a destiny pathway of, okay, how can I move closer to my vision and to my desires? So that is the transformational journey in itself. And I started to just naturally drift towards supporting women in confidence and visibility and having the impact. So what I noticed is that many times you're like, oh, I have this great idea and maybe I have this great desire and I want to go out and I want to talk about it and I want to be visible with that. And then suddenly you shrink back. Suddenly fear comes up and contraction and like worry or self-doubt or like, am I really good enough? Does anybody want to hear what I have to say? It often also doesn't feel safe to be visible, especially with this more spiritual topics that sometimes have been shut down in the past. And what I also realize is it's not only your own blockages that you work with, it's almost universal, and you work with the blockages from your ancestors, from your lineage, right? So sometimes it's like your grandmother had this great desire to be a teacher, and at the time that was not acceptable. Or so we're really working with being a circuit breaker for yourself in getting through your limiting beliefs and patterns, but also for your ancestral lineage. And that's what also makes it, that's where for me the spiritual part comes in. And that what makes it also very powerful, because you really are this circuit breaker within your lineage, or you're just setting examples also for the way forward. I think also for our children, very important to see what we can achieve and how we can be or become in a very different way. So, and I use that in a 12-week format. So I realized that it's usually a very good amount of time to work through these patterns. And that's what I do.
Great. Can you explain a little bit more of what the gap is?
So I do a little bit of an assessment in the beginning, and it starts with your logical mind on purpose, like where are you and where would you like to be? So let's say in your confidence, do you feel confident to speak up, and are you visible with your own needs to yourself? So you rate yourself where you are on a scale from 1 to 10, and that then is the gap. But then we don't tackle it only from the mind, but also in this kind of meditation, really sensing into what is your desire in confidence. What is your desire to be recognized for who you are? What is your desire of, talking to your boss as if you would be standing at the water cooler with your best friend, and you're just completely and truly being yourself? Or when you talk to your clients. So that's what I mean by the gap. And we actually focus on the area where you have the biggest gap of where you are to where you would like to be. And then the interesting thing is that also has the biggest leverage, because if you change your patterns and your stories around this, it has such a ripple effect. Imagine with the confidence, for example, into your relationship, into your health, into your spirituality. It also has an impact on your financial impact or influence. So it's kind of finding this one key area. And we're also focusing on just one area specifically, which I in the beginning found really hard. Because like, I want to do this and this and this and this, and I want to be spiritual and financial independent, but we're kind of losing energy with that. So it's really about honing in and finding this one area where making a shift has the biggest impact.
Great. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And my last and final question is, what does female leadership mean to you, and what does that look like?
Oh, that's something I'm very passionate about, because I see so many female leaders and entrepreneurs that are struggling, or that I think are disconnected from this feminine power. So I think feminine leadership is, on one end, really what is needed. Because as I said in the beginning, we know we need to be more inclusive. We need to respect Mother Earth more, right? So I think, and I see that a lot of women have this desire to, of course, be successful with what they're doing, which is perfectly okay, but also have this desire to have a bigger impact on whatever, you know, level that is. And I think that is really needed. You're not operating on an island. You're operating in an interdependent world, and even more becoming even more independent. So I think feminine leadership for me includes these qualities of the heart. It includes the qualities of the soul. You're talking about, you know, following or using your intuition in business as well, using your this integration, or being inclusive and integrated in the space that you're operating in. And I think it if I look at because I worked in the corporate world for 14 years, so I saw a lot of leaders, but I often felt like the feminine side was shut down. And I think it really needs to come out more. And I think we're really heading towards a time where women will become, and already are, so many powerful leaders, and really lead us to this change that we're all going through. And in this moment of, you know, almost being in the birth canal of birthing a new world, I think the feminine female leadership has so much to give. And for me, it's also just about appreciating it, right? It's not that one is right and one is wrong. I just think the feminine side has been shut down and not appreciated for a long time, that it really is catching up now and being appreciated. And I think for women, if you can include that into your leadership, it just feels more whole. You can really bring your whole being to being a leader, your experience of being a mother, being a partner. You know, I think there's so much we have to give in that sense. So I'm very excited for more strong feminine leaders to emerge and lead us into a different world.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And that's how I see your work, is that bridge, you know, the bridge between the two energies. And so that's really beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you had some offerings for the All Access Pass, the Backstage Pass. I would love for
Yes.
you to share what your goodies are.
So I would like to offer a meditation. It is a little bit different than the one that we just did. It would be the meditation on twin hearts, which comes from pranic healing and Master Choa that I've studied with for many, many years. And it's a meditation to open up your heart center and your crown center, even more than we did now. And it's very healing. It's very cleansing. It's a great tool to de-stress. It's almost like taking a spiritual shower in golden light every day. And it also helps with grounding. It helps with developing your intuition. So it's a very simple but very holistic and powerful meditation in its simplicity, and it takes about 20 minutes. So that's the recording of this meditation that I would like to share with everybody from the Backstage Pass.
Yay, thank you. Thank you so much. I love the connection of the heart and the crown. I remember the last time we spoke, you were talking about how, well, I'll let you talk about the connection of the heart and the crown.
So it's called Twin Hearts because if you look at the heart chakra, it's a 12-petaled lotus. And if you look at the crown chakra, actually the 12-petaled lotus in the middle is there as well, and then 960 more petals around it. But that's why they are twins, right? They reflect each other. And in pranic healing, we talk about the heart chakra being the center of love for your immediate environment, your friends, your family, the people that you know, which is very important. But then the crown also lifts it up to this more universal love that is really, love for humanity, love for everyone, love for people that you don't know. So we're balancing the development of the heart with the development of the crown, which is very, very important. And if the two are connected, the energy just explodes and becomes exponential, because then you're also becoming really a channel for bringing down a lot of spiritual and divine energy and sharing that. So we're also blessing a lot. We're radiating out the energy and love to others.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. Oh, I'm so excited to do that meditation. I love the meditation that you shared with us today. And I love the sound of the twin hearts. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for offering that. Is there any last and final thing you would like to say?
I think for me, it's just remembering that we are on a journey, we are growing and we are transforming, and we are held in this energy of love. I think the energy of the universe is love. And I think that's how we can get through anything. So it's also, instead of turning towards desperation and doubt, for me, the answer is always love. And love to yourself and love to others. And I think that's joining summits like this, where there's so much love and there's so much joy and so much upliftment to each other. I think that for me really is the way forward. And that's how we're going to get through this and change the world.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much. And for all of you that are listening right now, sometimes when there are the challenges and when, loved ones pass away and when, hardship comes, it's sometimes hard to kind of connect back in with that place of love. But like what Daniella was saying with meditation, that has always been for me, whether it be movement meditation or meditation, yoga, dance, going out in nature is the way back in to reconnect. And so, yeah, I'm really, really excited about the meditation. Thank you so much for offering that. And definitely everyone that's watching, definitely sign up for the All Access Pass so you can have access to the Twin Heart meditation. And thank you, Daniella, for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.